When you think about waste management in the town, what comes to mind?
Awareness. People, I think WasteCheck does a very good job as best they can, but we can always do better in terms of encouraging people to follow the guidelines in terms of waste separation. Not everything is garbage. A lot of stuff is a resource that can be used again. So the recycling and the compost and the need to separate, that needs to get out of a lot more. I think that might be the single biggest thing that comes to mind. Things have improved since I was a kid by a long shot. But yeah, people are still not getting it. Some will refuse to, and maybe they need a slap aside the head with a fine.
I think that, do you think that that's council's role, that council should be out doing that within municipal?
Council, well, I suppose it's an issue for all councils to consider how they can improve public awareness. I don't think it's their role entirely. I think it's up to all of us that are aware of the need for this. It's not fair to dump everything on council. They should do their part, but the rest of us should do our part too. And as I say, WasteCheck, I think those folks do an excellent job, but it's a limited bunch of people and they can't do everything.
Are you satisfied with the current waste collector service that's in town?
I live out in the country. I don't have any serious complaints myself. I try to follow the rules and do it. I know that issues can arise, but there are some warts there. In terms of how to address things like that, I know last year WasteCheck did do some green card inspections and leave notes behind. Somebody mentioned to me there's a guy down in Shelburne that checks when he picks up the garbage, and if it's compost, it's got all sorts of non-compostable things, and it goes and knocks on the door and has a conversation. If folks are motivated enough to do that or can be encouraged to do it, maybe that's a thought.
So there's a lot of talk right now about plastic bags. Do you have anything to say about that?
Need to think about a realistic way of reducing the consumption. If you got plastic bags, the vast majority of them are reusable. They're not one use. People need to be aware of the damage plastic causes, which is why I've written articles for the Vanguard and tried to encourage people to watch A Plastic Ocean. Because we still don't have a complete understanding of the damage this plastic is going to do to us. It's not just other critters around there. And the damage it's going to do to us is a lot less obvious. So it would be nice if there could be some other material identified. But again, you've got to strike balances.
Does it have to be another material? Like, well, I'm thinking we could have reusable bags and available at shopping centers.
Reusable or good.
At home, do we actually have to use garbage bags? Like, is plastic bags for garbage? What if we had a bin like our compost? Our compost just goes directly in the bin.
Might not be a bad idea. I wouldn't have any. I can't think of any downside to that. Good idea. Might be a little less convenient.
On how we might do
but
it?
It might be a little less convenient. But I mean, it would be expensive. I guess that would be one thing, because how would you get a bin to every household or something like that? Yeah. And if you tell people they're going to have to buy them, they'll tell you to go to hell, won't they? Or a lot of people will. But the idea is not bad. It is something to encourage, I think. Basically, the less plastic you use, the better. And reusable bags, and using some of these plastic bags to make reusable bags with is another thing. The plastic we have out there now should be considered a resource, and I think that they're starting to get that and realize that they have to work behind, instead of considering it garbage, consider it a resource. But I don't know all the answers there. But yeah, things like you take your old plastic bags, make them into a more durable bag that you can use for years. Maybe some of them can be broken down into fuel. I don't know. I think some plastics are. But it is something that bears work. We used to use cellophane all the time, which is made from plants originally. It isn't as durable as plastic, and it was a lot more brittle, but maybe that's another possibility.
So you're a good person to ask this.
Uh-oh.
It's broad, so I might need a second to think about it. What are the environmental impacts of waste management?
The environmental impacts of waste management. If we don't manage the waste, the environmental aspects are going to be a lot more serious. And I don't want to predict what all of them are, but I am 100% sure that some of them are really bad. Well, for example, just for example, all of us talk about environmental racism because of the sins of the past and the high level of cancer near the old garbage dump in Shelburne. There's an example of insufficient waste management. Stuff goes into groundwater, somebody drinks it, you keep drinking the water, and then 10 or 20 years down the road, the population has an overly high rate of cancer and things like that. So there is that sort of thing. I think the big thing is the science is still undergoing, and some impacts have been identified, more are going to be identified. So this is why we need to keep our waste production to a minimum and try not to pollute. And the aesthetic side of littering is the smallest problem. It's the one everybody notices, but it's the other, and the most dangerous items are the sneaky ones, when these things break down and enter the environment, get into groundwater, attract other toxic chemicals that stick to them, and things like that. So yeah, there's a wide range, and it's going to get wider as more science is done.
If you had to rate the quality of the environment in Yarmouth today compared with the environment 5 years ago, do you think there's been an impact?
5 years ago? It's no worse. 50 years ago, oh, it's much better.
Mm-hmm.
There were garbage dumps all over the place, people burning their own trash. It's improved, and I think it will get better. I think one of the reasons it has improved is, of course, our population isn't growing too much. But I think there is an increased awareness, and governments get credit, public education gets credit. It just needs to continue to improve.
So, would you say that solid waste management is a major issue affecting our community?
I would. The problem is, I think the problem is, how the hell do I know? My suspicion, and I've been involved with the Tuscan River Environmental Association since 2004, and I have been executive director for the last 7 years, so it means I do a lot of the work. Public awareness and public concern about the interest. There's two things there. Some people don't know any better, and some people know and they don't care. And those are two things where the challenge is still something to address. And an additional thing, I've seen it in my work with the Immigration Navigator at some immigration events. People that just come into Canada don't know the system, and so an awful lot of good compost, for example, gets tossed into garbage. So what I end up doing is getting to those garbage cans and separating the compost and the garbage and washing dishes. Oh, it's great fun. So I think that's another thing. I must mention that to Dolores again. Trying to invite somebody from Waste Check in for meetings. It's been done before, but it's worth doing another time because new people keep coming in, so they know the waste disposal mechanism in this place.
Great. So who do you think should be responsible for that awareness? Do you think?
Shared. I think I should talk to Dolores about it because I haven't. We talked once. We had one session. No, I need to share.
Something to
no,
do.
No. I should share part of the responsibility.
That's very all hands on deck.
You're damn right. Well, you need all hands on deck. And I mean, these people are coming here. They're going to be major assets to the community, but they need to know how to be the best citizens they can. And part of that is separating your bloody garbage. It's not difficult. So, I'd say a partnership, encouraging Waste Check to come to give sessions. They're glad to do it. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of scheduling and remembering to do it because we're all busy, we're all absent-minded, and that's the other thing, so it's good to be reminded. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who should do the reminding, but it's a good thing to do periodically because new people come in. And some people are careless.
Perfect.
Including come from a ways.
So those are all my questions. Do you have anything else you
No, glad to do it.
cover?
I'm always glad to spout in the interest of trying to help.
It's very helpful.
Good.